Today, we will continue from where we left in the last webinar. Uh, there is nothing much left in this webinar because we have already created all the logic for the single bar, and we have created some variables to take input values and maximum value, minimum values and maximum values and percentage calculation, and everything is there. So now today we're going to spawn our graph, multiple graphs in the level onto the spline, and we just create another blueprint which control all the activities, all the user inputs, and the previous blueprint just act as a receiver. We remove all the public variables from there and move them to our current new blueprint. So bar graph spawning and placement is the topic. And what changes, I already have made some changes just to save time, and I'm describing it right here. I remove all the variables, public variables. Minimum, maximum, I remove, and what I did, you can see the current slide right here. I just create inputs for them in my functions. That was the minimum maximum function before, and after the changes, it's something like this. Percentage function. Before, we have these two values, these two variables right here, and I just remove them, and just instead of it, I just create two inputs in my function. That was the pointer location function. I just remove this variable, and instead of it, I just create an input right here in my function. Rest of the logic remains same. Today we're going to we're gonna use arrays. Array is a data structure. It's a kind of a data structure which stores multiple values, because we have to deal with multiple bar graphs. So it's a good idea, instead of creating multiple variables, we need to create, we must create a single array which contains multiple values. Array is a data structure which has multiple elements stored respectively with their index numbers, which starts from 0 and onwards. Let's say I store 140. It's an array of integer. I store 140 at the location 0, at index 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so forth. We can add the values, add the elements, we can remove the elements, we can append the element, we can modify whatever we want to do. With respect to the blueprint, what I have an array variable, and I'm using it as a setter and as a getter. You see this small little squarey icon right here? It shows that it's an array, right? And we use get for the array in order to get values from the array. For instance, right now it says 0. It means it will give me the output of 140 if I connect this array right here. Another thing is add. I will use add to add elements in my array. I will use clear also to clear all the elements from an array, make it empty. There are some miscellaneous things. For instance, I will use spawn actor blueprint, spawn actor. It spawn my blueprint actor into the viewport. In my case, I am using the class, the previous blueprint as a class here. So it can spawn multiple blueprint in the viewport by this way. Get all actor of class. It get all the spawned actor from the level and give me the output. I will definitely use this one also in today's webinar. And when we are talking about arrays, How should we forget about for each loop? Definitely, to loop around the array, to get them, to work on them, we need to get we need to have for each loop. It's not mandatory, but definitely it's a good idea to have for each loop in your logic when you're working with the array. And that's it. Let's move to the practical part of it. Let's do it. It's not that complicated that I'm showing right now. Let's do it. Okay, first let me show you what we had in the last webinar. Okay, one, let's check all the functions. I've just create inputs for them. You see right here. Before that, we have the public variable, because this blueprint now is just acting as a receiver. Just receive the values from the control blueprint. That's it, nothing else. How I did it, just create a new function. And on the right, in the detail panel, you have inputs and you have outputs. It is that easy. You can even change the type of each variable as per your requirement, right? Let me delete it. Okay, and this is what I did with almost every function that I've created, that I had created in the last webinar. In the event graph, what changes I did, because my functions, when I have input, it is something like this. They require an input pin. So I change my custom event and add few inputs right there. Let's take a closer look. Minimum value, maximum value, bar scale, pointer allocation, because before that, they are just working as a variable in my blueprint. Now they are working as a input nodes. How I did this, right click, make custom event. On the right side in the input, you can create multiple input in your event. It is something like this, right? Rest of the thing is same as the previous webinar. I change nothing from it, nothing. Everything remains same. I just clean it up to give you a better visual representation. That's it. Let's compile it. What I am doing now, in order to spawn multiple bar graph, I'm going to create another blueprint, which is sorry, BP underscore bar master control. Here we go. Okay. The only component that I need in this blueprint is spline. That's it. I'm talking about the component. Let's rename it bar path. Because we are dealing with the multiple bar graphs, I've already described you that we are going to use arrays. So minimum value, change its type to integer, and I am changing it to an array, make it public. Let's make another variable, max value. Let's create another variable, pointer LOC, and because all the pointer location for all bars remain same, so it shouldn't be array. It's just a float type. Make it public. And bar max scale public. And I think, but I'm sure that I don't need float here. I need to have a vector because we need to set the pointer location to XYZ. That's why. What else? Yes, in order to adjust spacing of my spawned bar graph on spline, I am creating another variable which is a spacing variable. That's it. So let's start. When you create a variable and it is a type of array, you can add elements in it like this. Okay, so this is the most convenient way to create multiple bar graph. We don't have to create multiple, you can say, the variables. Instead of it, just one array carries multiple elements. What I'm going to do is to loop around each, because every bar that is spawned in the viewport, in my level, carries different values. So I need to loop around each of the element of my array. And for each loop is the best way to do this. Then every time this loop runs, I want to spawn one actor of my bar graph, one instance of my bar graph in my level. Spawn and actor from class, this one. To get more information about this particular node, spawn actor from class, Brim, can you share the link, spawning and destroying? Sure. You will get more information about this, its particular functionality under the hood from that particular link, which is Brim sharing with you guys right now. So I am spawning an instance of my bar graph each time this loop is this for each loop run, and I am going to save it for the future reference inside a variable. Let's make it ref single bar. Okay. And now I have this variable I have already spawned it, and now I can communicate with the bar with this blueprint, with my previous blueprint. I want to get this event inside this blueprint. So what is the name? Bar single. From the reference, just type bar single. Here is my function. Here we go. And it required few values: minimum value, definitely maximum value, bar scale, and pointer location, right? So for the maximum, I just drag my maximum value array, and pointer location and bar maximum scale, right? Bar maximum scale goes right into this pointer location. I want to pin right here. And when I connect my maximum scale right there, because both of the types are mismatched, it is array and it's not. What I'm going to do is just get and connect it with my max value. That's it. And what about the minimum value? We are getting the minimum value right from here. So it means that if I get it like this, I can connect it with this one. And right now, I'm just getting the index 0. How should I suppose to get all the value that is stored inside the max? So I just need to take out the pin right from there and connect it right there. So one time when loop run, it gives me 0. Second time 1, and it is all getting it from right from there. 2, 3, 4, 5, and onwards. So this is something very basic right now. We just get this event from the single bar blueprint, and right now I am just having this loop spawning my actor. I need to select my class, spawning my actor. Each time this loop runs, one actor instance of my actor blueprint spawn inside the spawn in the level, and that's it, nothing else. But when I compile my blueprint, I need something more, because spawn do nothing until I tell my blueprint that where should it supposed to spawn. I mean the transformation. So what I am doing right now, just make some space and drag it out. There are few more things hidden inside the spawn, which is location, rotation, and scale. Right now, for the demonstration purpose, I don't have anything to do with the rotation and scale, right? What I'm doing, I'm just dragging it out, my spacing variable as a getter, multiply it with the, oh, sorry, it should be float. Multiply it with my index and drag it right there, but I just need to break it one more time because I just need x-axis. That's it. Like this. What is spacing I need? Just 50. Make it 75. Okay, guys. Right click, make a custom event. Name it play all bar. Connect it right there. Create a function. play reverse, and what was the name? Sorry, play all. Just drag it from there, connect it. That's it. Don't forget to add Z reactor. I'm just going to put it right there. There's something wrong with my blueprint. Let me check. Okay. It says, let me do it again. Bar single. Bar single. For some reason, because I created the variable without the blueprint class, that's why I need to delete it. And
It's always good to troubleshoot like that.
yeah. Reference bar single. Now it works fine. Bar single right there. And here we go. Connect. Everything as before. It is, no, it is the minimum value, and here we go for the maximum value. Now I compile. It's okay. Seems fine to me. Perfect. Right now we have nothing to do with the spline, right? Just hit play. And what I have is I need to load my test. Okay, now what I have, I don't need this. This is a previous example that I've created, I was working on. I'm just going to delete all of the arrays so I can do it from scratch in front of you. Yes, this is the minimum value array. Add an array. 3, and definitely we need to match the maximum also. Number 100 maximum, 100 maximum, 100. Make it from 100, I will get 50, 40, 30. And spacing is whatever, 100. Bar scale, it's up to you, make it 2 or something. And pointer location, I remember 35 from the last paragraph. Here we go. My bars is spawning as an instance in my viewport. This is what I was expecting. Let's save it and move them on this spline now. In order to move them on spline, I need to get my spline reference in my scene, in my graph, and get location, because I need to get location exactly for each element. Get location at distance along this spline. And I also need rotation because I need to make a curve with my spline. Get rotation.
Just like behind us.
Yes, exactly. Get rotation at distance along the spline.
So if you missed the last webinar, what we did was to create one single bar and design it, give it color on certain percentages. You can refer to that. And today we're learning how to use multiple of them and in a shape that we want. So just information for the newcomers to the webinar.
What I'm going to do is to multiply my spacing with my index for each instance of my bar graph, and just put it right there. I can control my spacing right from this variable, right? And location goes into the location right there, and rotation goes into the rotation right there. I think that's it. Let me check. Is it working or not? Press Alt to make copies of a spline point. It is just working just like Photoshop and Illustrator path. It just have another axis, which is the Z, and you can create any shape out of it, anything. And to get good visualization, what we are doing right now, just check this option, visualize roll and scale. Okay, so I am making a nice curve like this, maybe. Okay, let me check. Is it working or not? Okay, let's spawn. It is working. It is working. It is on the spline right now. Okay, let's make spacing 120. I need to set the spline a bit, but there is something wrong. I can show you. When I change the spacing and click, because there is no reverse functionality, and I just set my blueprint to spawn, always spawn my bar graphs. They are just spawning one by one. And you know what is happening right now? Look at that. 1, 2, 3, multiple copies. We need to manage this thing also. Okay. So what I'm going to do is to add few nodes right here. First, I need to create a variable. And it is to store all my spawned bar graph. I just name it store all bars. And it should be the type of my blueprint. We can set the variable type of any blueprint. It is webinar graph, and I'm talking about this blueprint. I just create and make it an array. Drag it out as a getter. Type add, and each time when my bar is spawned in the level, I am going to store it inside this variable by this way, right? And it required what need to be stored. It is bar reference bar single, which is this blueprint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a single function to reverse and play forward my bar animation. For this purpose, I'm going to use flip-flop. When we hit this event first time, it play A. And when we hit this event second time, it plays B. So for the first time when it play, I am going to clear all of the array reference from this blueprint, from this array, sorry. And what else? I need to create another function, which is reset, and I'm using get all actor of class. Brim, can you share the link with the guys? What it does, it get all the spawned instances from the level and give me the output in the form of array. That's it. What I'm doing right now, that for each loop, with the help of for each loop, I'm destroying them all. And calling this function right there. So let me make some room. Reset. And then play everything. So when I hit play again, it never happened that you can see multiple copies of my unnecessarily in the level. It cleared the array, remove the copies, and play the new one, right? Another thing, because I already have this bar reverse event in my previous blueprint, single bar blueprint. I'm going to get this bar reverse. You can't see anything because it's not context sensitive. Just uncheck it, it's there. And with the B, connect it. So what I'm doing right now, if I have minimum value of 4 for each loop runs 4 times and spawn 4 blueprint actor in the viewport, in the inside my level, right? And store every copy, every instance inside this variable. When I hit my event first time, it removed all the instances from this array and all the physical copies, spawn copies with this function, with the help of this function.
Don't shake too much.
And that's it, nothing else. I'm just going to play it again. Where is? Okay, let's set it on the 0. Play. Okay. works fine. Let's add more copies, right? Let's say I need to have something 50, 40, 30. And 100, 100, 100, 100. Number of maximum values are 6. 10, 20, 50, maybe 100. Let's check it. It is working or not. Yes, it is working, but we need to increase the space also and also adjust the spline. I can also make some controls to adjust the spline in real time, but definitely we don't have that much time. You can refer to the spline documentation or tutorials online. You can adjust every aspect of spline in real time. Even you can add spline points in real time. Okay. Let's check it again. All right, we have something like this. And if I want to add values, remove values, and do whatever you want, it works absolutely fine. Make bar scale 3. I don't know if it's working. I hope it's working. Yes, it's working. Bar maximum scale. So you can always have a chance to adjust your spline in the scene if you don't have the real-time control of it. And more or less for every type of bar graph, the base logic remains same. You have the minimum value, you have the maximum value. I've created this logic because I don't want to limit myself on the hard-coded number of graphs. I just want to spawn them in real time. That's why I created this kind of blueprint. Otherwise, you may have something else. You always have you just place your bar graphs inside your level and get all actor of class and then change their values and whatever you want to do. This is everything that I want to show you definitely in today's webinar. So if you have any question, you can definitely ask me.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm particularly, can you share your screen again?
Yes.
There's something I want to show on this line.
Just wait.
The fourth one is shaped a little inside, like too close to the other one. So when you want to edit one bar into this array, how do you do that?
It is something like this. I'm just going to remove all my arrays right now. Okay, just leave one there.
Mm-hmm.
It is right there. Because I didn't make animation for these for this platform, so that's why it's always there.
Mm-hmm.
And when you add another bar, it will be there. Make it 50 something, 100.
Yes,
and you can even change the maximum value.
Yes, you can change the values, but what about its location?
Yeah, it's always from left to right. Yes, we can make the logic that it's always spawned in the middle. This is what you want. Yeah, we can do this. We can definitely do this.
Okay.
We can control this. And finally, one more thing. It is something like this that I am they are spawning same time, they are animating same time, and I want to add delay from one bar to another. So what I'm doing, I already have a macro for each with delay. This is not the default thing that you can find in even in Reality Editor or Unreal Vanilla. I have created it like this. I just modify for each loop and add a delay inside, right? And you have many tutorials of it, and you can find it on YouTube. What I'm going to do, I am replacing my for loop, for each loop, to for each with delay. Okay. And let me check one more thing. Okay, perfect. And let's add some delay. I'm adding 0.2 milliseconds. And now you can see the difference. $50, $40, $10, $30, $90, $100. Okay, now I'm just spawning there, something like this. You see, now they are coming one after another. And they are also changing their color respectively, their percentage. You see, 100% blue and the minimum percentage like this. There you can see the transition between them, and all the values of minimum and maximum working just fine. Let's consider it as a election scenario. If you have multiple values, like not 100, maybe 15,000 votes, and out of 15,000 a candidate get 7,500. Let's play it again. You see, 7,500 out of 15,000 makes 50. So it is not limit with the 100 all. You can change each bar with its own minimum and maximum values. It will always give you exactly the right percentage. So that's it.